Welcome back to Exploring Whiskeys. I'm Eric.
I'm Kevin, and today we're going to be doing our second exploration of the Heaven's Door whiskey line.
Heaven's Door.
Heaven's Door. Before we get started, could you hit a thumbs up on the bottom? Just a like. That would be great. Really appreciate that. This whiskey.
Interesting concept.
It's kind of an interesting, exactly. Very interesting. One, tied in directly with Bob Dylan. This is the only brand partnership that Bob Dylan does. Mm-hmm. That one I wasn't aware of. Each bottle has some kind of ironwork, gatework, metal thing that he does. He does a lot of, he has his own shop, he does all the design work, and that gets put on these bottles. This particular release is the double barrel. We've done a couple different double barrels at this point. I know we did the 1910 is a double barrel.
Right, out of Old Forester.
And out of Old Forester, we did the Woodford Double Oaked.
Not my favorite, but...
No, but it's not bad. So I'm interested to see what this is. No age statement, not a whole heck of a lot of information about this whiskey, other than it does spend another year in a new barrel.
So they pick a master distiller.
Yeah, this line had one distiller that went through and I don't know, I don't get the words master distiller. I'm going to say master blender.
Blender is probably better way to put it.
Yeah.
So they kind of go around and they sample barrels.
Yeah.
And they they select ones that fit their profile for what they're kind of going for this particular bottle. This one, was it 3? Is it 2 or 3? No?
2 or 3 what?
Different barrels from...
I couldn't find anything.
Well,
I don't know where it's coming from. I don't know what kind of whiskey. Like the first one that is a Tennessee bourbon, I'm going to bet money it's Dickel. Going to bet money on that. As soon as you come over to this one, I don't know what it is. I don't have anything. The label itself, the fact that it's called double barrel whiskey, now you've just thrown everything. It doesn't have to be, it's not a bourbon. It doesn't necessarily need to be Tennessee process. I don't know what it is. I don't know anything about it.
that gives them all the freedom in the world.
Oh, you're totally right.
3 whiskeys.
3 whiskeys.
3 whiskeys.
Blended and aged. Sorry.
Well, hey, you know what? For that's got to be fun to go around the country.
Yeah, that's a cool job.
Huh?
That's a pretty cool job.
Yeah, a little bit. No, you go around, you find... If your goal is 3...
You find 3 that you like.
You probably pick some that are in the kind of the same, I would say similar region.
Probably. Or profile or basic, yeah.
To go around, you finally narrow down your 3, and then after that, then you go dump them into another barrel and let them age. The double aging.
So that's what they're doing. They're finding 3 different whiskeys and then using another barreling as the maturation process of blending.
Because I would imagine most of them are pretty young.
Probably.
Yeah. So.
Woo. Yes. I'm going to say they are pretty young.
Well, I need to...
Reset.
Yeah.
It's young. It's not...
young, but it's got a little sweet.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, the sweet does come through. The proof is a little higher. This is 100 proof. So you're going to pick up maybe a little the sharpness from the ethanol. But there's a lot of sweet notes in there. Not necessarily... I don't get an overly nutty, but there's a touch of a nut.
It finishes like Dickel.
It does have that nutty,
which I'm fine.
dusty peanut.
I'm probably one of the only ones in Tennessee that prefer Dickel over Jack Daniels, other than Jack Daniels higher end stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, it does finish like a Dickel.
I'm still on the nose. Sorry.
You seem
Stuck on the nose.
Like you're scared to jump in the deep end there.
No, it's just, I get the sweetness. There's a touch of an ethanol note. But there's something else, and I almost don't want to drink it because I would have figured it out. But take a sip and see if it helps.
I just get sweetness and ethanol. That's all I get.
So palate-wise, I'm gonna get a little sweetness. I get a little that unsweet tea rye note in there, like right in the middle, and then it does get a little, I'm gonna say oaky and dry for a finish. I have to assume that's the second barreling. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what kind of barrel they're putting it in for the second barrel. So I don't know if it's, so the 1910 from Old Forester is light toast, heavy char. The Woodford Reserve Double Oaked is light char, heavy toast. I don't know anything about this one. It doesn't say. That doesn't really tell you.
Well, I'd go back to Old Forester for me.
That was really, I mean, 1910 is just an amazing pour.
I don't know, like just the nose. I get the ethanol. I get some sweetness.
I get ethanol sweetness with a touch of like a dusty peanut note at the, like, faintly underneath it, but it's not strong. And it's
like
not
a vanilla a little bit, but
yeah, and
faint, but it's very faint. Everything else is
everything's
very
really faint outside of a sweeter ethanol note. The palate does come through more oaky. I get a little bit more oak on it.
Very on the back end.
Yeah, but I also get, I'm going to go for, this is probably more toasted than charred on the second barreling, because I get a lot of that vanilla note. And what's that other note? I'm getting something else, but there's a pretty decent vanilla note that comes through in this.
That finish, like I get
That
some
oak
cinnamon.
really comes through.
I get some cinnamon, some caramel.
Yeah, but to me, the finish is oak, dry, and it's just like
It's super dry.
your tongue just kind of dries out a little bit. All right, totally being nitpicky by saying all this. It's not bad. It's pretty good whiskey. 100 proof. It's 50-ish bucks for a full bottle.
This was the birthday.
This is the sampler pack from Mr. Lorenzi.
Greg Lorenzi.
So it's not a bad for a double barrel, and it's not bad. 50 bucks for 100 proof isn't horrible.
Nope.
There's nothing wrong with that whiskey whatsoever. I think it sits in a comparison that's hard to live up to.
Honestly, though, I think I made the comment on the first one that I just don't see this out on the shelf much. Any of them.
Yeah.
I don't know what their market, like what's their strong market.
I don't know the answer to that.
Because I'm thinking, obviously,
And they keep doing
the first
the
one's
one-
in Tennessee, and then this one, it has more of that Dickel
It does have a lot of
flavor.
Tennessee note.
So you would think that
You're talking to the right market by
Right,
being in this area, and it's not really around. Yeah.
I just don't see it on the shelf much.
I saw the 61. When the 61 came out, I did see it a lot in this area. The only place I saw Heaven's Door on a regular basis was R&B. I've seen it there. I used to see it there a lot. But I don't see it. I can't say that I've seen it at many other local liquor stores. That's the only place where I consistently see Heaven's Door. Don't know why. Getting sharper on the finish and the palate. It's young. Whatever it is, it's young. Even the extra year and whatever,
I think this one would be really good on cube.
Probably.
Being that it's young, it's 100 proof.
Right. A little mellow out.
Mellowed out, just a
Bring
touch.
forward that vanilla note. It's there. It's just not
It doesn't need to
strong.
be a full cube. Just maybe a cube, small cube or two. Just to water out just a little bit.
Yeah, I could see that. It's very. I mean, overall, it's kind of. It's a very interesting concept overall with everything that they're doing. So when these original release was all done by, there's the one distiller, Ryan Perry, who came from, nope, that's wrong. Sorry. Jordan Vai, who used to be part of Breckenridge Distillery. That is one of the fun parts that they've really worked for is, with Bob Dylan and the company that he's working with, Spirits Investment Partnership, SIP. whatever. Who cares about the brand, the companies behind it? They don't specifically have one master distiller or one master blender. As they decide to come up with new releases, they'll work with someone new. A new blender, a new taster, or whatever it ends up being, and a new distillery to make that blend. So, this Tennessee could have been, I don't know, say it's Pritchard. Mm-hmm. And this has 3 different barrels, so maybe one's from Dickel, one's from...
But this one, now that you mention it, I knew before we started this episode being a part of a Breckenridge, that whole Stranahan's lineup, it has more of that kind of bite to it.
Okay.
So it's more of that Colorado frontier
whiskey note.
Yeah, whiskey note profile to it.
Okay.
So maybe it's a mix of a Colorado, a Stranahan's.
Yeah, it's probably, my guess, if I'm going to totally guess, if it's 3 different whiskeys, it's probably a Dickel / some kind of Tennessee type note. It's probably a whatever, pick some distillery
MGP.
I was going to say an MGP.
MGP.
And then do they go over to a more of a Western craft distillery, or is it a Kentucky bourbon that they're blending in there? But that's probably the mix. My guess is when we get to the straight rye, probably an MGP rye.
Probably.
I mean, that is one thing MGP does.
From a cost standpoint, though, you can't start pulling.
All over
3 regions. That gets pretty expensive. So
probably.
Maybe it's all MGP, but it's 3 flavor profiles from.
That's a possibility.
Tennessee,
too.
Colorado, Indiana.
Well, unfortunately, these bottles don't give you a whole heck of a lot of information, so it can't go from that.
But I wouldn't either. It's kind of the mystery.
The website itself, I think I mentioned this in the last one, really pretty. A lot of artwork, a lot of quotes from Bob Dylan.
Well, all the bottles, I mean, the front of the bottles are
all that kind of stuff. But actual detail about the whiskey, no. Doesn't exist. They don't share that.
I think his name alone is what's trying to sell.
Yeah, absolutely.
This one.
Totally agree.
But hey, I don't blame him because every country musician right now is trying to do the same thing.
That's right. So, and if you have a passion for whiskey, why not? I mean,
you got a passion for it and you're willing to...
You got somebody with the name of Frank Sinatra who has his own line of Jack Daniels, or technically that kind of went the other way around, and we'll get there at some point when we do the Jack Daniels, the Frank Sinatra edition. They really like the fact that he drank Jack Daniels.
If I'm going to put my name on it, like some of the country guys are doing right now, I want to make sure I'm involved in that process. It's not just some crap that's just thrown out at the bar on Broadway. It's not that you and I are going to go to the store and buy the bottle and sit here and do this. I mean, they're obviously more like, hey, let's put it in the bar. It's a shooter, blah, blah, blah. But you still want a little bit of quality. You don't want the guy to be like, holy cow, that's the worst.
Totally agree. Outside of the fact that we're both whiskey nerds. We're going to pick it apart to a different level.
I'm still going to shoot it, but at the end of the day, I'm like,
maybe Bob Dylan is just like, hey, over ice while I'm crafting up a new iron gate. Who cares? I'm not sure how much he's involved. I'm not sure how little he's involved. Maybe he's super involved, and this is...
This one in particular, I'd be really interested to see where they pulled from.
Yes.
Knowing that the one guy involved is from the Breckenridge Distillery.
Right.
Knowing, I've had my handful of Stranahans. My youngest brother, that's one of his favorites.
Okay.
It follows that profile, I think.
I don't think I've ever had
the sharpness to it, that frontier whiskey.
There's definitely
and I like Bullet,
aggressive
but they claim themselves, or that's one of their they're
Yeah,
frontier,
frontier whiskey.
but they're from Kentucky.
Yeah.
They're not from Colorado. So
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just interesting. I would love to pick his brain though. Where did his profile come from?
Yep.
Is it
I'd be
more the
interested.
frontier, or is it more of the hey, let's pull from Dickel, one or two from MGP, and
Yeah, a Dickel, a Kentucky, and an MGP, and call it a day because they have so many whiskeys.
They do. Can't wait to do that tour.
Yeah, right.
Scott, we're talking to you, buddy. 2 in the box.
2 in the box. Got one more out of the box. We got one more. No,
Still
we got
in
one
the
more
box.
in the box. We got one more out of the box. That's the way. That's the way they were supposed to say
So
that.
I mean, I think overall they're good.
Yeah, it's solid whiskey. I just my own personal preferences, and I think yours too. I'd like to know more about what it is I'm drinking. I don't like the secrets. That bothers me. I want to know more about where it's coming from, what's the mash bill, the ages, I like all that information, and it doesn't totally impact me buying it or not buying it. Like, I'm still going to buy it and try it. So
We would probably buy more if we knew.
if we knew more, yeah, probably.
I think we get that opportunity to go to MGP and hear some of those backstories. I'll sign the NDA. I won't spill the secrets. No, but to go up there and hear kind of the thought process. I mean, because obviously there's obviously a ton of people coming through there that want to start their own. Kind of what's the process? Hey, you're sitting down like here's our flavor profile, or is it just like, hey, let's just line up a bunch of barrels
And
you just
wing
pull a couple of samples out and you like that's it right there.
Yeah.
And they just tell you like, oh well, this is what's in that mash bill.
Right.
And let's roll with it.
Right. And then if you want to, and then what's the next steps? If you want to start distilling your own stuff and you want to use the same mash bill setup, is there like a buyout to that? Or
I'm sure there's an extra fee involved if you actually want to go down your own path.
Yeah. But I want to use the same mash bill, maybe
But
the same
you know,
suppliers.
on the flip
Who
side,
knows?
though, you probably think at some point MGP is like, you know what, I can't do everything.
Right. I want to move on at some point.
I want to move on. So hey, you like this one?
Great.
Great. Here you go. Here's the recipe. We're going to charge you this for it, and we're moving on.
Yeah.
Back to here.
Wow. Another
Rabbit hole.
of conversation and totally off topic. But
no, I mean,
for this particular, the double barrel whiskey from Heaven's Door, it is a solid whiskey. Mm-hmm. I like the fact that it's 100 proof is a little, it's nice. It's got a nice flavor to it. For a double barrel whiskey, it's not the best that I've had. I mean, the 1910's probably up there for one of the better ones that I've ever had. There's a few store picks of the Woodford Reserve Double Oaked that are really, really good. It's solid. This is a very solid bottle.
It's in the lineup.
It's in the lineup.
It's just not the top.
That's not the top. I would agree. Yep.
But-
And at $50,
But for a blend,
Sure.
But as a blend,
yeah.
we're not expecting it to be here.
Right.
We're
Yeah. The
Expecting
fact
it.
that it's all sourced, I'm not expecting that high level. That's why I think if they gave more detail of how they're sourcing it, I think there'd be a better following, or more people would be more interested in than it's just sourced.
I think they're along the right line to this one.
Yep.
But I think what they're putting into it, keep it just a little bit longer in the barrel, then put it in, and then put it in the second barrel.
Yeah. The extra year was probably good. It probably needed a year before
It
it
helped,
went
but I
into.
think another year in the original barrel before it went to that one, it
Absolutely
made it made even better.
Yeah, absolutely agree. It's just a touch sharp, touch young.
Yeah. Right now, experiment's the game.
That's everybody's trying to find
Everyone's
out
doing it.
what their angle is going to be going forward.
It's like beer 5 years ago.
Yep.
Everyone's like, "Who? Strike it while it's hot."
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely correct.
We hope you enjoyed number 2 in the Heaven's Door lineup. If you did, we encourage you at the like button at the bottom of the screen.
While you're down there, again, if you're new to the channel, subscribe, hit the bell icon so you get notified every time we put a new episode. leave us a comment. What do you think of the Heaven's Door lineup overall? Specifically, what are your thoughts on the double barrel? Is it good, but maybe not like the best double barrel that you've ever had?
Yeah.
It's really what it comes down. That's kind of where I think we're finishing. So,
Right. Thanks for joining. We'll see you on the next episode.
thanks for watching.
Cheers.